there, cats and kittens, boys and girls of all ages. This here is Culture Doom, episode 327. My name is Alex.
And I'm Brendan.
And I know you might be wondering, why exactly is Alex the one who's starting off the intro episode? It's kind of a not usual type of regular episode, but yeah, Brendan is he's a little down, he's a little tired, hungover.
Yes. It was a long evening.
Yeah.
And overindulged more than I have in a while, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly it was because of how late I went into it, and then so that the quantity. And I was also thinking that I usually this is the worst it's been in a long time. The fact that it's after 8 p.m. and I'm still just want to die. I think part of it is my age.
I think so too. Usually by this point, I should be right as rain, having slept a couple times during the day, like after a very heavy day of drinking or night.
I was at work all day.
Well, meaning like the previous day, like a heavy evening of drinking.
Right.
But
I didn't get that much sleep either.
Yeah. I kind of woke up.
I'm a mess.
I woke up around like 2:45 this morning, and I was like tossing and turning, and I couldn't quite get like back settled into bed, and it was kind of weird, and I don't know, I had to go pee, but I didn't feel like I was like, I should wake up and go and pee just to pee, but then when I got to the bathroom, it was kind of taking a while to go and pee. Like my body's like, what are we doing here? What's happening? Why are the lights on?
You get to spin.
Bladder.
You turn the light on when you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night?
Yeah, because I don't have a window in the bathroom.
That's madness.
You
don't have a nightlight?
No, there's no nightlight. No.
Oh, you should invest in a nightlight, man.
We do keep the light over the stove on low as like.
Yeah, but I mean, like turn. Have you always operated this way, where you turn all the bathroom lights on when you get up in the middle of the night?
Yeah,
man.
Well, here's the thing.
How do you function like that?
In some of my older like houses that my folks lived in, we would sometimes have like a dimmer switch in the bathroom, so you could always. So basically, what I would do is that I would turn on the switch, and still have my head out in the hallway, and then slowly like turn it down so that I can operate in like low light, so it looks like a Welsh coal mine, and then I can pee in happiness and safety. But in this bathroom here, it's basically just an on-off switch with those like globe lights that you know what it's like. It's just basically it's on and off, and you're not too keen on it.
I bring night lights with me to hotels to put in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Like I pretty much operate in dimly lit rooms everywhere though, because the only time I turn my bathroom light on all the way is like in the morning when I'm trying to do my hair or something. Mm-hmm. But during the day, I never turn on the bathroom light.
Well, you do have some light coming in from like the hallway, like the front entrance of your apartment, like that foyer.
Yeah, but section. I don't. Yeah, but I mean, I just even when I use the facilities, I don't turn on the light.
Yeah. I think like if you also get used to the layout of your bathroom and work, you're kind of better suited. But I now have like a toddler toilet. So I don't want to be like kicking over things and waking up stuff. And there's a step stool in there, and I would just be a fucking mess and stuff like that. But speaking of toddlers, I was very happy that Nicholas was able to enjoy some Halloween trick-or-treating, as opposed to how many other kids were probably doing it this year, where he was able to go to school with his schoolmates, dressed up in costumes and such, and go trick-or-treating down our main business district, the main street, the main intersection in our town of 1500, which was adorable. He was dressed up as a spider, and Erica made him like a backpack that looked like spider legs. He looked like Doc Octopus from Spider-Man 2.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Not just Doc Ock from Spider-Man, but specifically Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
The Sam Raimi, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the Raimi cut. But yeah, I was very happy about that. It was cute watching all the kids come up there, and all the parents were there and stuff, and they did a little Halloween song type of thing or poem.
Did anyone come to your home trick or treating?
What we did is that we weren't going to be one of those weirdos that sent the candy down like a 10-foot PVC pipe like some morons were doing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've seen stuff like they were saying like, oh, this so you could do social distance, and I'm like, you're still touching the candy, you know. It just I don't understand what it is, but it looked like people were like, it was like those Swiss mountain horns that you see on the Ricola commercials. That's what it kind of looked like. But what we did is that we basically just put a big bowl of candy out there. I went pretty skimp on the candy this year. I only bought like 2 medium-sized bags of like Whoppers and Jolly Ranchers and some Snickers. It was a kind of combo bags, and I just put them in the bowl, and we put a sign on there and said like enjoy some candy, happy Halloween, or something to that effect and stuff. And we just put on the haystacks that we got for like our decoration outside. And I think we had a bunch of people show up and get that and stuff. There wasn't really that many people as far as I know.
Whoppers, Jolly Ranchers, and Snickers.
Yeah, and then there was like
Snickers.
peanut chip and stuff.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say because like Jolly Ranchers and Whoppers are it's a big swing and a miss.
Yeah,
dude.
well, the Jolly Ranchers were actually, they weren't the rectangular kind. They were more of they weren't like the clear color too. Like, you know, it's more like glass, almost like stained glass looking. These were actually more, they were square. So I don't know if they're kind of, and they were individually wrapped. So I don't know if Jolly Ranchers kind of changed the way that some of those are, or it's just the kind that came in that combination pack.
I feel like the candy that you get in those combination packs, it's almost like there's one candy that's decent in them, and they try to, you know, pawn off their shitty candy next to the Snickers or the Butterfinger, but then you get all the weird shit around it.
Right.
Because they know it, and then the bags that are, you know, all Butterfinger, those aren't discounted. Those are just in the regular candy section. Right. Those aren't Halloween candy.
Yeah. And it was interesting because both of the bags I got included Snickers in them. However, one bag had the quote unquote fun size, which are kind of like 1.5 inches long. And the other one was just like the small bite size Snickers. So I was like, what's going on here? And the wrapping on the bite size was really half-assed and stuff like that. So, but Nicholas was happy. He got to walk around. He was marching with like his little pumpkin bag held in front of him, like he was like, you know, he just like, give me food. He didn't understand the concept, so he got to go trick or treating to like the trophy place and the insurance store, and then the post office had people there.
Trophy place. Yeah, it
the
sounds
bar,
like you live in
the
Mayberry.
Bank, yeah, the fire station, the library. Yeah, it's very. Oh, you've been there. You know, it's kind of Mayberry-ish, even though Mayberry, I would imagine, has got more stuff going on there. But at the same time, we came home and I took a look what we had. I was like, man, you got cheese balls, and you got, somebody gave you it gave you like a snack pack size of Doritos, and you got like a whole bunch of Laffy Taffy and some Skittles. I'm like, you did really good, dude. And he didn't know.
Then you tried to feed him a fruit roll up. What kind of madness was that?
Yeah, somebody gave a fruit, like a small fruit roll up in there, and he tried it, and he's like, no, mommy, no. Then I gave him like a what was it? A Milky Way, and he was just like, I like this.
Yeah, because fruit roll-ups are for like, that's padding out your kid's lunch.
Yeah,
that's not Halloween candy.
Yeah. What
crazy person was distributing fruit roll-ups?
I don't know. But he also got like a Halloween pencil, and he got these little like pumpkin and ghost shaped bubble wands, like little, the kind that you get for whenever, like, you know, the end of a wedding ceremony and they're leaving the church. You kind of blow the bubbles because rice apparently kills pigeons or some shit. I'm like, would that be a bad thing? I think not.
Don't be mean to pigeons.
Yeah. So,
hey Alex.
Yes, Brendan.
How far along is Erica in her pregnancy?
She's heading into her 8th month right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, in a couple days.
So that means that your pending son is a quarantine baby.
Yeah, a COVID baby, as they call it. Friends of ours.
Were you bored?
I'd say so. What's funny is that friends of ours, they had their son a couple months ago in September. So they were kind of bored too. Even though if you look at it mathematically, they did
doesn't
it
add.
before.
Yeah, exactly. Your kid is what, April?
Yeah, I guess sometime.
So it's like you guys lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you're like, let's make a baby. We ran out of things to do.
Well, the thing was, like, we were planning on having a kid, like, probably originally, like, within 4 years, but Erica kind of wanted them at 2 years apart. So now we're going to have them at 3 years apart.
That's a nice compromise.
It's not too bad, yeah. I mean, her and her sister are 2 years apart. My brother and I are 4, so 3 is it's pretty good. But it'll be interesting to see how he's going to interact with the new kid, because we already have him taking naps in his big boy room, as we call it, quote unquote, which has got very construction and truck and boy centric type of stuff, and he's got all my comic books in there, along with some other like Disney books and stuff. So yeah, it should be a fun time, just for him getting used to sleeping in a toddler bed instead of a crib. So. But yeah, I'm happy he was able to.
Nicholas.
Yes. But there was something like when I was talking about some of that stuff earlier to you today, actually yesterday, we started looking at like headphones and stuff, because you're like thinking about getting some new headphones that you have an actual microphone in it.
Yeah, I used to have Turtle Beach ones that I got as a gift, but those have fallen apart. I thought that I had glued them back together, but apparently in some cleaning fit, I threw them away because I cannot find them for the life of me. So now I have nothing except a giant microphone and my normal headphones.
Yeah,
because it's not very conducive to gameplay.
Yeah, because I know some headphones, they don't have the built-in microphone, and some of them do.
That's like real headphones.
Yeah. Normal people. But mine are a Turtle Beach, since you mentioned a Turtle Beach brand. Or Turtle Beach model that has the microphone in it. And basically, since I'd kind of been looking at watching some stuff on Twitch and also like YouTube and other stuff, I've noticed a lot of people there, if they don't have like the microphone into the headset, then they've got the like the big Samson type of microphone like we utilize here for the show. I mean, mine is, I think you might have a different one.
It's the same. I have the same one you do.
I was about to say Samsonite, but yeah.
Samsonite.
But what I've also noticed is like watching a lot of people, what they use is like earbuds, like the generic come with your iPhone type of earbuds. And
they don't come with your iPhone anymore.
Yeah, no. But I'm kind of watching them going like, this looks very cheap and sad and very low effort. And I'm kind of wondering to myself, where exactly are they? Like, I know they're probably just plugging them into their tower, like the input, plug and stuff like that for the headphone thing. But I'm thinking to myself, if these people are spending more money on like a good quality camera and a microphone, because I see some of them, they have like the microphone that's on the the swing arm and stuff like that. You would think that they would try to get at least something better in terms of audio hearing, than just these are the type of earbuds that came in iPhones, and now they're just kind of like a dime a dozen and stuff like that. And I felt that like, it's like, if you want people to take you seriously, you should kind of have everything going at the same time.
But wait, are these aren't professional Twitch people? These are just random Twitch people?
Well, it depends on what you mean by professional Twitch people now.
I mean people who make a living off of Twitch.
These are people who make a living off of Twitch.
Well, then, I mean, they got to be doing something right. They're doing something better than we are.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
we're the opposite.
I look to see how many people are watching him live, and they do have at least like over 10,000 people, which
Is it over 3?
Yeah. 3,003. No, but I'm just thinking to myself, you have I kind of look up their bios and their Twitch page and stuff like that, or even on YouTube, the same thing, but more on Twitch. And they have their loadout of like all their sponsorships and their donations and any swag you might get and things like that, and their whole computer build, which I basically just copy paste into Google search engine, and I'm like, oh, this is a pre-built computer. Okay, whatever, who cares? And then
Alex, you're such an elitist now.
I know.
Build one computer and suddenly it's like
PC Master Race.
Oh, pre-built.
Yeah. But I'm just kind of thinking to myself, it's like you guys, you can spend a little bit of money and just get actual headphones, not like earbuds. Mine aren't that expensive. You can at least do this like the minimum. And I just felt like, if you want to step up your game, kids, you should probably do that.
Yeah, but Alex, how much were your headphones?
They're like $29.
Yeah, the Apple earbuds are like $99.99.
They're not wearing earbuds. They're wearing the actual wired.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what's worse.
That's weird. What is it, 2004?
Something that.
Who wears wired white headphones still?
People who are apparently Twitch streamers.
Because it's like I noticed that the AirPods, the Apple AirPods are almost like, holy shit, $220 for Apple AirPods. They're like the status symbol the same way that the white earbuds were for the original iPods.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, I got the coof.
Jesus.
So that was it's interesting to see people walking around with the AirPods now, the same way that people used to do that, in 2004. But the fact that these streamers are playing with wired Apple earbuds that's bizarre.
Yeah. And I'm wondering also, I'm thinking, because I have some of them when I got my my iPhone X, and they have the thing where they have the USB Type C. It's I don't know what type of, but it's not like your 3.5 type of jack. Like you have to there's like the adapter, which they probably do, hopefully, if they're smart enough. I don't know what I was trying to make with that point and stuff like that, but anyways, yeah, it just kind of like it's odd that they still would be utilizing them this far down the road.
Do you want to know why they do it?
Is it just
the answer?
Okay, why is it? Is it because it's noticeable?
No, it's because they don't like wearing headsets because of how long they wear a headset, and that it's hot and distracting to wear a headset. And so earbuds are less invasive.
I think that's kind of weird.
That's what Twitch on Reddit has to say. That's
very odd. That's very interesting, because I do know a lot of other ones are using headphones and they have no... I mean, the most it could do is probably just push against your ears and then crush your coiffed hair and stuff like that.
My headset always gives me the hair by my ears gets impacted too much, so then when I take off my headphones, I like have mushroom head because it's like it's too narrowed by my ears then where the ear cups were. So I just have to live with that, or wear baseball caps all the time.
But yeah, that's basically my whole shtick about earbuds and stuff like that. It was just a weird observation I noticed.
I know. I just like that you're worried about how professional a Twitch streamer comes across.
Yeah, even though I can't even watch Twitch anymore. I mean, like it's funny watching Ninja, and he's got like 14,000 people at like some of his peaks, and then there's just like a bunch of other putzes that are doing like. There's some guy I saw on there. He was doing like 6 figures, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" and stuff. But whatever. I mean,
what do you mean 6 figures?
Like over like 100,000. Yeah, 100,000 people viewing this stream.
That's too many people. How do you have a chat room with that many people in it?
I looked at the chat. It was you couldn't even read anything. It was going so fast.
Yeah.
Like let alone pick out a thing. It's just it's. And the problem also is like every Tom, Dick, and Harry is on Twitch now too. So it's just trying to get in there and stuff like that it's kind of hard, even for somebody like Ninja to leave and then come back. It also depends on what game you're playing. That's the biggest thing too. It's whatever flavor of the month it is going to be the most popular thing, and the most popular thing is just chatting.
Is it really?
Yeah, it always tends to be it's always like. Tends to be like the first or second thing that's like on most popular or something like that.
That's what we do. Yep. Just chat.
We just chat. But have you? I was texting you also a while back recently. And
a while back recently.
And I'd asked you if you ever had kombucha before.
I have.
And I didn't think you were too keen on it from the sound of it.
No, I thought it was awful. It tasted like carbonated vinegar.
And I found out interesting because I had tried kombucha. I got it at the gas station. And I was like, okay, this is kombucha, and it's like a pineapple.
You said that.
Yeah, it was, what was it, like a pineapple coconut or something? It was something with pineapple and stuff like that. Pineapple something. I tried it at home, and I was drinking, and I'm like, this is a funky tasting type of thing. It's like this weird soury, acidic-y type of thing with like a pineapple flavor and stuff. And then I asked you about it, and you're like, yeah, it tastes like vinegar and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then as I continued drinking it, the vinegar started coming out more and more, like almost subliminally.
Well, I hope it didn't ruin it for you.
Well, it didn't ruin it for me, but it also didn't, like, while I was drinking it before I contacted you, I wasn't really too keen on it. I was like, okay, so what is this like? Is it supposed to make me feel better? Is it supposed to be, because I didn't even know what the fuck it was until after I drank it. And then I started Googling it on my phone and finding out that it's like fermented tea.
I was going to say, it's fermented, right?
Yeah, I knew it was fermented, but
it's a lie.
But it basically, it's like, it comes from like it's a fungus, like a tea fungus or something like that.
I thought that you would have watched the It's Alive episode with Brad. Brad made kombucha.
No, I haven't.
It's gross. You should watch it.
Okay.
Then you'll never want to drink it again.
But then it's weird because they say that it's like originated, they don't know what it's somewhere originated in like parts of like supposedly like Eastern Europe and then Manchuria. And I'm like, I've never heard my grandmother mention anything like this, or any of my relatives mention kombucha or something. So I'm thinking maybe it's like further eastward, because like out in my part of the woods there, they've got this thing called kvass. And I've made kvass before at home.
It's beet juice, right?
No, that's borscht.
Oh.
Well, that's like
kvass?
Well, kvass is basically it's fermented. It's a fermented beverage utilizing like rye bread, and it's got to be like the black, dark rye bread. And it you add like certain types of things to it, like raisins or currants. Sometimes you put like some mint or honey in it and stuff like that. It's very low alcohol. It's like barely 1%. So it's like 2 proof. Which,
do you know why I thought it was made with beets?
Why?
Because Bon Appetit, It's Alive with Brad makes beet kvass. He made it with beets. That's why. That's why I was confused.
Okay, interesting.
I'm telling you why I was confused.
Yeah.
I'm clearly wrong. I believe you.
Yeah. But I was like thinking like, okay, maybe it's kind of like something like that, because I'm like, that's a further thing away from tea. I mean, rye bread and tea don't really, you never think of either two. But I guess it's like the fermentation type of thing, and it's like, when you live in Eastern Europe, what else do you have to do except like try to see what can and can't be fermented for alcoholic purposes. And I made it early last year, or late 2018 maybe. I have to double check with Erica, but I made the kind that had the rye bread where you had to basically char it, and then you had to like boil it, and then you added to it yeast, and I put raisins and stuff, and a little bit of honey too, and then bottled it. And I basically had to get like bottles for stuff, and I don't know how I came across it, but I'm pretty sure I had a bunch of I think they were like V8 juice bottles, like the big bottles or something like that I had I guess I had stored for a while or used it for something. Maybe no, it was Hawaiian Punch. I had a Hawaiian Punch, and I basically cleaned them out, stored it, and then I basically had this kvass stuff for the longest time, and it tasted meh, and there really was barely any alcohol in it based upon how long you let it ferment and stuff like that. But it was interesting just to try it myself. But in terms of having any tough health things, I don't know, maybe if you drank enough of this kombucha or kvass stuff for a long time, but I just feel like it's one of those kind of like meme things that kind of came about, like kefir being another one.
Oh yeah, things. I remember that. But kombucha's been popular for like 8 years.
So yeah, wow. No. Well, I mean, we just got this down here in my part of the woods.
Kombucha made its way down there.
Finally made it. Yeah, it's fine. Well,
do you guys have a Whole Foods over there?
We have, what do we have now? We have Harvest Market, which is basically the same thing, except it's owned by, I think, the same company that owns County Market. So yes, we basically do have the South Park equivalent of that type of thing. And it's this thing where it's like you come in there, it's all organic meats and all organic cheeses and all organic fruits and vegetables, and they have like a bakery, and then there's a wine bar and an olive bar, and if you want to,
there's a restaurant, farmhouse restaurant.
Yeah, there's that whole thing, and you can buy food.
An olive bar.
Yeah, it's
You're so funny. They have olive bars in like every supermarket.
I know, but it's unique.
It's unique because it's at Harvest Market.
Yeah. Well, they're like, oh, we finally have an olive bar, and I'm like, yeah, that's where you get olive oil from, or you can get it at Walmart in like a giant gallon tank for like Alex, $10.
You've descended into full country bumpkin. It's sort of like Lord of the Flies, except it's you living on a farm. Mm-hmm. Where you're yelling at Harvest Market for having an olive island, whatever the fuck they're called.
I'm basically there. I just walking around loincloth with like a spear and a conch shell, yelling at the clouds.
Yeah, you've turned into Hank Hill.
Oh God, that would be such a great dream. There's a propane.
You're
place
on your way,
here.
buddy.
I could just probably go up there and be like,
Alex,
hey.
They have a picture of their olive bar on their Instagram.
Oh God,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's basically that whole thing. It's like, oh, we have all these types of meat and cheese, and I look at the stuff because it's owned by like a restaurant. Oh gosh, look!
I can't believe
pickled Brussels sprouts.
I can't believe it. Oh, now you're into it. Now you're interested.
No, I'm not a fan of Brussels sprouts. It is interesting how they have the
olive
pimentos
bar.
By the same.
What's your favorite olive? Oh my God, that's hilarious!
Original.
I didn't realize anyone was that proud of their olive bar.
Yeah.
They have a kombucha bar. All right, now I do hate them.
Mm-hmm. Favorite juices are restocked. $8 for an apple fresher. You
can get a growler of kombucha at this place.
Oh God, talk about. And my stomach felt like it didn't feel like shit the next day, but it felt weird.
Yeah, it's all those probiotics.
So yeah, I just think that it's another one of those meme type of foods that's. It's always funny because it was like.
It is a meme.
Yeah, it was like matcha was another one. What's the thing? They call them blood apples sometimes. Pomegranates was big for a long time. They're like, oh, pomegranates. Oh, pomegranate juice. And the palm had a weird pseudo sex toy butt plug looking bottle that it came in. You might have seen it and stuff. It was just.
Yeah, I'm familiar with palm, Alex. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just kind of like, no, thank you. I tried it to finally try it, and people be like, oh, have you tried kombucha? I'm like, yes, I have tried it. What'd you think of it? It was kombucha. I've had better kombucha. They're like, oh, really? Where at? I'm like, Eastern Europe.
I made it
my
myself.
Grandmother's house. We can go to my grandmother's house and talk to her.
If you're shocked as I am that Alex didn't like kombucha, please email us at contact@culturedoom.com and reveal how unexpected this development was.
Yeah.
Hey Alex, what time is it?
Right now it is time for Professor Alex's fascinating factoids and other such trivia. I'm here. Hello, everybody. I've got my lab coat, my thick glasses, and I look like Harry Carey, I'd imagine. Or no, Beekman. That's who I would model myself after, Beekman.
Alex wanted to make sure that I understood what he looked like.
Yeah, I look like Beekman. Anyways, so here's our first fascinating factoid. Is that back on November 3rd of 1970, a young girl that was given the name of Jeannie was discovered by California authorities and was discovered to be a feral 13-year-old child.
That's the end?
That's the end of that one. Yes. They found a 13-year-old feral child by the name, which they named Jeannie back in 1970.
What happened to Jeannie? And where was it found?
Like in some, like the article, if you look it up on Wikipedia, it's a very depressing type of thing. So if you want to read that, you can read that at your own personal leisure. Which apparently she's still alive. They found her a while back.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've heard about this.
Yeah, they found her and she's like...
This is what you decided to talk... She wasn't feral. She was like abused. I mean, she was feral in the context of she couldn't speak, but she was like abused by her father, wasn't she?
Something like
and,
that.
Locked in the basement her entire life?
Yeah, so they still kind of refer to her as feral just because of her, I guess, like her actual communicative skills and stuff, or lack of, rather.
Yeah. This is a depressing story.
It is a very depressing story. I'm sorry. It's back to back after the elephant that got...
I was to say, why didn't you combine this with the elephant story, Alex? Just give me a tragedy trilogy.
Yeah.
Next time. She looks like Charlotte Gainsborough.
I have no idea who that is.
Okay. Sorry.
I'll read that article later. You read that one. Our second fascinating factoid comes from the world of weather, and it has to do with tornadoes. Tornadoes are very powerful and destructive, but are also very awe-inspiring in terms of just the sheer magnitude and destructive force that Mother Nature has. And tornadoes have been able to set certain type of records over the years. The ones that have hit the records was tornadoes were able... There was a tornado that was basically calculated to have speed that was around 307 miles per hour in terms of the actual rotational force of the gusts and consistent wind speed that was being given off by it. Some of the largest one was about 2.4 miles in diameter. And there's one that was also capable of staying on the ground and traveling for about just over 100 kilometers in total time. So
that's fast.
Yeah, it's fast, and it's also very fast, very large, and can also travel great distances. So pretty much in conclusion, if you see a tornado, don't be a dipshit. Go the opposite way that it's moving. That's more of a PSA there on that one. And then our third fascinating...
That's not part of the fact.
That's a fact PSA. Also. It's a factual PSA. Our third fascinating factoid, or trivia piece, this is more a trivia piece, has to do with the recently passed Sir Sean Connery. And it has to do with a little film that he did back in 1965 by the name of Thunderball, which is my personal favorite James Bond movie. There was a scene where in the film, the James Bond basically is stuck in this pool that has sharks in it, owned by the villain Largo. Emilio Largo is the name, the villain character. Because Sean Connery was doing his own stunts in the film, he had taken a look through the actual script and saw that, hey, they're going to have me jumping into this pool with these sharks. So what he ended up doing is that he asked the production assistant to basically create this plexiglass kind of wall partition inside the pool to basically kind of allow the head to still swim in it, but keep the sharks away from him. However, what ended up happening is that the guy who built it didn't make it an actual fixed structure, and it was basically just kind of like dunked in there and floating. So the shark was able to basically get past that and ended up having to cause the entire film crew in the pool at the time, which was being done below water, along with Sean Connery, to basically just abandon the pool at that point. And then they ended up continuing with a stuntman afterwards.
He didn't slap the shark?
No, unfortunately not. He didn't have enough time to do that. He had a couple of too many vodka martinis in him that day. Actually, he was just drinking straight up scotch, and then he went for a dive with sharks, which is awesome. But anyways, that was this week's fascinating factoids and other such trivia.
Well, thank you very much, Alex.
You're very welcome.
Once again, I have learned very interesting and highly depressing factoids from you.
You're welcome. I guess. Sorry about that. I'll try to be a little bit more lighthearted next week.
Please do.
Since we're going to be heading into the Thanksgiving fall season. So,
yeah, what are you, speaking of Thanksgiving, Alex,
mm-hmm.
what, are you guys planning on having Thanksgiving? Are you going to see family? What's your...
I don't know. It's still kind of
itinerary?
Up in the air. I hope to be able to go and see family. I don't know. My mom always hosts it and stuff like that.
Right.
Which I'm hoping we can still do, but it just...
Thanksgiving is canceled in my family. Because my great aunts are in their 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the only scenario will be me and my mom with them, but then I have to, like, be in a different room because I'm the one who's around more people.
Oh, yeah.
When I was like, maybe I'll just not go. because,
yeah.
But, like, my godson's family, who they always are the ones who host for Christmas and for Thanksgiving recently, or at least for Christmas, my godson just tested positive for COVID.
Jeez, how old is he?
I haven't seen him. He's 14.
Wow.
I haven't seen him in
14 years?
Since in 14 years. I haven't seen him since last Christmas, I want to say.
Okay.
But still, I was like, yep, that's it. There's no more holidays are canceled.
Yeah.
Which I was already in favor of. I'm not a big family get-together type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not terribly broken up about it. But I understand other people have feelings.
Yeah. Mm.
and want to have their family. And I'm still going to see my mom's, and that's really all I care about.
Yeah, that's good. My big thing is, like, I always enjoy, like, Thanksgiving morning when you wake up and you have, like, my mom would make, like, something special for, like, breakfast, like, hearty breakfast, which I think one year she made, like, pancakes or French toast and then eggs and bacon. And I was just like, Mom, we're going to have to be eating, like, turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes within, like, 5 hours afterwards. But it's always nice to, like, wake up and you, like, you smell the turkey going in the oven, and she's doing, like, her cranberry stuff. And then she makes this really good, like, yams and peaches and cranberry type of, it's almost like a fruit type of medley thing that she's like sautés and cooks and simmers on the stove, and then mashed potatoes and everything like that. And then we get ready for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which you have to sit through like an hour and a half of Broadway schlock before they finally get to the floats and stuff like that. And then you got to watch terrible football, and it's just a wonderful day. And then you get to go and watch whatever is on TV afterwards and stuff like that. Usually a couple of episodes of Frasier, perhaps. So that's always been a fun Thanksgiving type of thing afterwards. So
that's good.
Yeah, one thing I did always enjoy for Thanksgiving is that Pepperidge Farm used to make a stuffing that had apple and raisin in it, and we loved it. And then one year we couldn't find it anymore, and then the following year we couldn't find it anymore. And they apparently discontinued it because it wasn't selling. And I think my family was the only one that would ever purchase it. So. Yeah,
it's all about stovetop, my buddy.
Yeah, I think stovetop had too much of a monopoly.
I never really ate any of it. I've complained about this before. That's the other thing. Not only do I not care about family, I also don't like food. Yeah. So Thanksgiving has always been kind of a blech.
Yeah.
I have to be social and eat food I don't like. Great.
Yeah. It was nice when you came over that one time to my folks, and you're just like, oh, I'm here to eat some Thanksgiving food. My mom's like, eat.
Well, it was pizza.
It was pizza, yeah. But she still wanted you to eat.
It was huge. Yeah, that was a big relief.
Yeah.
That it wasn't Thanksgiving food.
It was basically like Thanksgiving for the secular Thanksgiving worshipers.
That's me.
So, yeah. But anyways, I think we are going to go and take a quick break, if that's okay with you, and then come back and do a couple more segments and then wrap up the show.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So stay tuned to Culture Doom, And in the meantime, enjoy a word from one of our sponsors.
Cute little dog you've got there. But hold on. In a previous life, he could have been George Washington. Nice cat. Perhaps Annie Oakley. And look at him. Why, it's Napoleon. Reincarnation. What human being was your pet in a previous lifetime? Master reincarnationist E. David Scott will tell you when you call this number. Just answer simple questions with your touch-tone phone. $1.95 per minute for entertainment only. Under 18, get permission. Call now. Learn who your pet was as a human in a previous lifetime.
Hey, welcome back to Culture Doom. This is episode 327. Yes, it is 327. Yes, I was just trying to remember. Hope you enjoyed a commercial break from and took to heart a word from our sponsor or whatever it is.
Did you get the or whatever it is?
Yes, I did get the 10 cents in my account this morning.
No, I meant the splinter in your finger, but
yeah, it was. It was weird because it was like lodged in sideways.
It's weird how, as a child, I feel like I had splinters all the time, and as an adult, it's never. I not work with my hands the same way I used to.
I get them, and I kind of wonder how exactly I got a splinter because they're always this weird piece of wood, and I'm like, there's not really anything in my house that would be like that. But
what's your method for removing a splinter, Alex? Do you go for the trying to like cut it out, or do you go to pushing it out?
I go with the tweezers.
Tweezers.
Yeah.
But what if it's under, like all the way under the skin?
If that's the case, then I basically use like nail clippers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure I understand, but that's
like
fine.
Basically kind of like nip, sort of. Or sometimes like a needle.
Yeah, I was I go for
as a pry bar, I guess you would use it.
Exactly. Yeah, I always go for the needle.
Mm-hmm.
This has been Splinter Corner with Alex. Alex, what are we at now? What are we doing?
We're going to talk a little bit about Amazon. And
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, the world's biggest company, which it's probably bigger than Walmart in some
it definitely is.
I would say so.
By per value
Amazon
value
Walmart
creation.
Doesn't have a streaming service.
That's actually interesting. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. But basically, it has to do with a lawsuit that came about against them from California, in which basically Amazon has to basically kind of sort of agree to, or basically just come out and say that just because you purchase something on their streaming service doesn't mean that you actually own it, quote unquote. And they basically are changing their rules of or terms of service in a way, and fine print, asterisk, and all that stuff, into saying that what you're actually purchasing is considered a limited license for on-demand viewing over an indefinite period of time that is they so see fit and stuff like that. And the gist of it is that basically there was this lady who had purchased a bunch of video content on Amazon from about 4 years ago to present. And basically what ended up happening is that when she tries to go and watch some of these, even though she owns, quote unquote, the rights to it, she is unable to watch these because for whatever reason, the streaming rights to those titles are no longer available or being owned by Amazon at that time and such like that. And what ended up happening is that during this lawsuit, Amazon also went ahead and filed basically like a motion against her saying that she can't personally sue us for monetary reasons or something like that because she simply hasn't been injured of any sort, because it's like a class action against them and stuff like that. And that they're saying that, since she basically has filed her thing, she's also gone ahead and purchased like a dozen more titles on Amazon, knowing full well that this is the issue that's happening. So they're kind of saying that like this person basically knows what they're doing and what the situation is, but she's still continuing to purchase these things, quote unquote. But the attorneys for her are basically saying that, Amazon service is basically telling people that, if they purchase something, it basically, they
can take it away whenever they want.
They can basically, which basically makes the whole, like, yes, you own this title, a moot type of defensive, or definition of it and stuff like that. However, Amazon said, well, they still own the rights to it whenever it becomes available again so basically it becomes of like, you may own it, but it's only available to you to view whenever it's back on availability and stuff like that. It's not like it's held in a separate type of thing, which I think that's kind of something that's come about with a lot of the whole streaming service, and basically the argument about physical media versus digital media. And if you have the actual rights to that digital media, once you have so said purchased it, and you and I both own quite a bit of that, simply speaking of our Steam accounts and stuff like that.
Well, Steam I was going to bring up Steam because in theory, it should sound just as dangerous to buy video games on Steam as it is to buy movies on Amazon. However, Valve gets a lot of shit for being not customer friendly, but ultimately I feel like they really actually are, and they've made comments in the past about how if in the event that Steam went out of business, if Valve closed Steam, there would be a window of downloading your games and being able to burn them or archive them, so you would be able to get all of your games before they shuttered. And the thing that's more relevant to this situation with Amazon is that if you buy a game and for whatever reason it gets taken off of the Steam store, you can still download it and play it. New people can't buy it anymore. But you will always have access to the game. And an example of that is this Taiwanese game, Devotion, which is a horror game that came out and then was gotten into trouble because of the Chinese government, because there was something in Chinese criticizing something or someone. It might have been Mao, actually. And it got pulled from the store. But if you already bought it, you are welcome to continue to download it and play it.
Yeah, it's just the list, the title listing when you search for it, I'm guessing, in the store.
It doesn't. Yeah. You can download the soundtrack, though, if you want. That's still available.
Yeah.
So that's doing it right. I agree that if you buy it, you should be able to access it at any time.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, like similar to how Steam has and stuff. But I'm guessing in this type of regard for like a streaming service, because I know like a lot of streaming services have this thing now. Like I know Disney Plus has it where you can actually download something to watch like to your device or something like that. I don't know how it would be. It's something that would be similar that like Amazon. I think they allow you to do something like that. And they should probably be able to do, like you said, like something similar to Steam, where, it's not available to view or to purchase at the time or something, or search. But, if it's in your library, I guess, because I don't have anything purchased through Prime. I think I've rented maybe one or two things ever from Prime to watch.
The one thing I paid for Showtime for 6 months to watch Twin Peaks season 3, and then I bought the Blu-rays, and so it's like now I have that. Yeah, now it's mine, and no suspension of service is going to take away my Blu-rays of Twin Peaks.
And I think that's the other positive thing about physical media, because a lot of people are kind of just shifting over to digital because it's like it's easier, it's faster, blah blah blah. But if there's something you really personally do like and you enjoy and you want to watch over and over again, then physical media is a fantastic thing. But the only problem with that is that for many people, watching it on a television is you need to have basically like a physical media player, like a Blu-ray player at this point, which, Blu-ray players aren't selling as much as they did before. So if you have one, you should treat it with respect and don't overwork it. And then also,
Still buy Blu-ray players.
I know, but the
you
thing
can
is,
still buy VCRs.
but yeah, well, that's a lot of money for some of those VCRs. But
I know, right?
yeah. But also for like, for physical media, you can only use that physical media if the actual player itself is still working and such like that. That's my biggest thing. And then for
$500 for a VHS player, $750.
It's almost like
renewed.
It's almost close to like what they were going for when they first came out in a sense.
Only what's this say? Only 16 left in stock. Jeez. That means people are buying. This is a terrible funai. Never even heard of it.
Yeah. But the other thing for physical media, like computers, like PCs and stuff, like they definitely are really shifting away from being able to play any type of physical media unless you get a tower that you can have like a Blu-ray player or a DVD player, or you get like an external one that you can plug in through your USB and stuff. But a new topic, which we can move on to now, is that the U.S. American Baseball League season is completed. The Dodgers have won the title, beat out the Rays.
I feel bad that they won in such a stupid year.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite feel the same.
Well, it finally pans out for them blowing tons and tons and tons of money on their payroll. It finally came to fruition. I don't know how many people are going to be going out to the stores to go and buy memorabilia. There's no parade as far as I know. Houston did win, so that's a positive.
That is the positive.
But if anybody's interested, currently the Korean Baseball League is currently having their own playoffs. And their playoff system is very fascinating, which I did not know how they do that and stuff like that.
How do they do it?
So what they do is that they take the top 5 teams that qualify from the league based upon win-loss records. And what they do is that those 5 teams then go into a step-off ladder playoff system. So if you're basically the number 1 seeded team in the playoff based after the season, you automatically go to the Korean World Series at the end. And then the wild card team is basically the 5th and 4th place team, and the winner of that basically ends up having to go to the next playoff team. And what happens is that the way that the wild card game, when it's the 4th and 5th team, the 4th place team actually starts the series with a 1-0 lead. So what has to happen is that the 5th place team basically has to either beat that team or tie the team. I'm sorry. The 5th place team basically has to win or tie, but the 5th place team has to win twice. I'm reading this off of Wikipedia. My dyslexia is coming through. And then so the winner of that wild card game then has to go and play the 3rd place team in a best of 5 series. The winner of that series then goes and plays the 2nd place team in a best of 5, and then the World Series for them is then a best of 7 series. So, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I'm just basically reading off of Wikipedia.
I was going to say...
Because I find it very interesting the way it is.
I'm a little confused, to be honest. This is a little complicated for my feeble brain at the moment.
Okay, that's fine.
So why do you find this interesting?
It's just basically very interesting the way that their league operates from ours, because basically I don't know much about the Korean league. I mean, more about the Japanese league and much more about the U.S. team. But there's only 10 teams in the league. And,
yeah, I mean, how many does Japan have? Japan has like 3 or something. What do they have?
I think they've got like 16 or something like that.
16?
I think so.
Holy shit!
I think that's what the J League is.
Okay, I stand humbly corrected.
No, hold on now. I gotta know.
Korean baseball. Maybe if I read it myself.
Nippon. They've got the Central League. 12. I'm sorry. Japan is 12.
Okay. You should have seen my eyes glaze over as you were going through this playoff. I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah.
So what is this, KBO league?
Yeah, KBO. Oh, then
send me.
The Dutch have their own. They have an 8-team league that plays 42 games. Royal Netherlands Baseball, also known in Dutch as the Honkbal Hoofdklasse. Then they have a minor league system and a rookie league. What American expatriate went out there and did this? Oh, Australia has their own league. This is fat because I'm always wondering, like, how the hell did the Dutch field a baseball team in like the international baseball thing or whatever they do? That's funny. Japan has an off-season league called the Miyazaki Phoenix League.
Unrelated to Hayao, I assume.
Yeah.
KBO wildcard game. 5th place team versus 4th place team. Fourth place team starts the series with a 1-0 lead and advances with 1 win or a tie. Okay. Well, the 5th place team must win twice to advance. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. That's where I was like, I don't know what Alex is talking about.
Sorry. That was the confusing thing. But then pretty much
is very strange.
That first round is very odd, but then after that it's just straight up 5-game series, and the 7-game series.
I don't like that they have ties.
Yeah, ties are something that's more akin to like
football,
foreign sports. And hockey
sports.
Although the NFL now does the tie thing too.
Really?
Yeah, I think I feel like every season that they've had since they instituted the tie, they've had at least like 1 game in each season have like a tie. It's something to do with like if you don't score. I think what it is now is like you have to score touchdown in order to like win the game, rather than just like a field goal in overtime.
I forgot that this was the season where this was the season where we had fucky baseball, where someone started on second base at the beginning of each extra inning.
Mm-hmm.
That was dumb.
Yeah. KBO also runs basically, they have a universal designator hitter rule.
So, Alex, on a scale of 0 to 4 pots of gold, how many pots of gold would you give Korean baseball?
I've only watched 1 game on YouTube. I'd give it like I'd give it probably a 2.5 out of 4. Basically they say that the play quality is somewhere between AA and AAA, but I do know that the atmosphere and the crowd gets into it, so that's kind of the positive thing.
Well, excellent. So if you'd like to check out Korean baseball, you can look it up on YouTube, I assume.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, they could probably have a bunch of games from several years ago or past couple of years and stuff like that, like a full game and stuff. Same with the Japanese league. So
tomorrow at 3:30 a.m. the Doosan Bears versus the LG Twins. LG is an LG, I assume?
Yes. Yeah. One thing that is...
I saw Samsung is on the list, too.
Yeah, the Kia Tigers are another one. They are the most successful team. What it is, a lot of foreign countries or a lot of leagues in other countries, a lot of teams are sponsored by or actually owned by a corporation.
Major corporations,
yeah.
I see. Lot?
Yeah.
Isn't that the candy snack manufacturer? Yes. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting type of thing. What's interesting is that I do know off the top of my head, in Germany there's a team called Bayer Leverkusen, and Leverkusen is owned by Bayer AG, which makes they're a pharmaceutical firm. So,
Bayer?
Bayer or Bayer, Bayer.
I've never Bayer.
Yeah, Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen.
Maybe it's just the way they're. It's German.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's just the way they say it in the American commercials.
Yeah.
Because isn't it like Bayer, the headache medicine?
Yeah. I think it might just be like the way it's said in the U.S.
Yeah. It's like Adidas.
Or Adidas.
Well, it's pronounced Adidas, which I find it very irritating that I can't pronounce that properly without sounding like an asshole. And now bear is going to be the same way, right? I want to say Bayer or whatever you were saying.
Bayer.
What were you saying? Bayer?
Bayer.
Bayer. I don't know. You tell me.
Bayer.
You know my European pronunciation better than I do.
I don't know. I'm just kind of going off of what it's. I know what is it? Porsche. We call Porsche cars, but they call Porsche. Porsche. But then I'm thinking it's spelled in a completely different fashion. The Porsche.
Anyway, Alex.
Yeah.
I think it's time to wrap up this week's episode of Culture Doom.
I think so too. Thank you very much for joining us once again here on Culture Doom, episode 327. I had a great time. I know Brendan had a great time. So hopefully you had a great time. Anyways, on behalf of everybody here at Culture Doom, this is Alex saying Do побачення. Until next time. I now have like a toddler toilet